Morning, good morning. We're going to do a quick spooky story time before I go to work. I really love telling this story because it freaks people out so much when it happened to me. So this happened in about 2004, and I had, my mom had passed away in 2003, and I wasn't able to see my family, my extended family, as much as I would like to. And I was missing, being home in Louisiana, so I decided one day I was going to drive from Dallas to my hometown of Natchitoches, and it's about a 4-hour drive. So I just hopped in the car and just left. Went home to Natchitoches. I drove around, went to the trailer park we used to live in, and, just looking at going to old places that we used to go to and stuff like that, reminiscing, and going down to the river and sitting on the riverbank and stuff like that. And it was starting to get dark, and I was like, oh, you know what? I probably should get in the car. I need to get home to the cats and stuff like that. So I got in the car and I was driving home, and I was about midway between Natchitoches and Shreveport, which is about an hour drive. And I had pulled off onto the side of the highway on an access road. And I was like, oh, you know what? Let me go get something to drink. Let me stop at a gas station so I can get something to drink on my way home. So I pull off, and I got this weird feeling of, I want to go explore. Even though the sun was going down, it was getting dark, and it was just, and it was in the middle of, really nowhere. I had no idea which town I was in. I don't know which access road, exit, whatever it was I took. So I'm driving down, and it was like this smaller, not necessarily a dirt road, but it was kind of close. It was like a 2-lane, like one way each way little road. And I saw this creepy looking church. And the church looked like the one, if you've ever seen, read the books, The Scary Stories and Tell in the Dark, and you've ever seen the picture of that church, that's what the church looked like. And I was like, ooh, this is weird. I don't like this. I feel uncomfortable. And then I looked across the street, and I saw this big grove of trees, and then I saw a small road or a little gravel thing, and I'm like, let's go down there and see what happens. Yes, I did that, okay? And I was alone, by the way. So I drive down the little road, or the little gravel thing or whatever, and at the very end was a cemetery. And it was getting really, really dark. So I'm sitting there, and I get out of my car, and I have my headlights on and stuff like that, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, oh, cool, let me grab my camera. I want to start taking a bunch of pictures because I've never seen a cemetery like this before. And it was really old, and it had a broken, the fence was falling down and everything like that. And I was looking, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I felt this ice cold breeze. Now, granted, it was June in the middle of summer in Louisiana. I felt this ice cold breeze, and I just got chills up my back, and I was looking around, and I looked, and I was like, oh, you know what, I'm going to stay a few more minutes, and I want to go look around the cemetery. I want to see how old it is. I want to look at the tombstones and stuff. The second I got up to that gate, I looked up, and I could see shadows moving within the trees, and I was like, oh, okay, okay. And I could see these figures forming within the trees and then coming out of the trees. They had no eyes. And I was like, I think I'm gonna go. So I did. And I just slowly went back to my car, and I kept looking, and I took pictures. I have the photos. It was on an old black and white camera, and I have the rolls of film that I need to get developed. But yeah, I got back in my car, and I sat there for a second, and these figures kept just getting closer. And I thought, oh. So I was backing out, and I needed to get, I could not turn around. I had to just completely back out. And I did, and I managed to get out of there, and it was completely dark by the time I got to the end of the thing. And I looked around, and I was like, oh my God, an hour had passed. And I thought I'd only been there for 5 minutes. So after that, I grabbed my friend, a few months later, and I was like, hey, we got to go find the cemetery. I've never been able to find it. I have gone back multiple times. I can't find that cemetery again. I can't find the church, and I can't find the cemetery. I can't find anything about it online. I have no idea where that cemetery is. But I'll tell you one thing, whatever figures, the guardians or whatever spirits were in that cemetery or surrounding that did not want me there. And I was like, okay, I'm noping out. Bye. So one of these days, I'm going to find that cemetery. I'm going to have to. That church was creepy, and the cemetery and everything, and then me never being able to find it again. That was, yeah. So, that was creepy. I want to do it again. So, enjoy!